Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Wiffle Breakers live chat Wednesday. This is episode 4, fourth time I'm doing this. Um, I got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it more and more each week to the point where right now I'm running it on Wednesday. I'm doing it one day a week, but I don't know if that'll be enough. I feel like throughout the week I have different thoughts that I want to write down. I usually text myself. I don't know if other people do that. They send text messages to yourself so you can, send yourself reminders essentially, and I keep sending myself stuff that I want to talk about. And I feel like I could fill up more time. Not that anyone is asking for this. I'm well aware of that, but it's just, you know, a sports card business. I run it profitably. I'm certainly not a prophet. I don't know what's going to happen next. I have no secret sauce. I just enjoy what I do, and I think I'm good at it. So I like talking about it. So when I say that I want to potentially do this more than once a week, and the one show I put up gets 30 views, I definitely don't need to do this a second time. But I am just enjoying it so much, and I think that's part of why you do any of this in the first place. Why you ever make content, why you're ever in cards, is just the enjoyment of it. So if I'm enjoying it, I might keep doing it. I don't know if anyone watched last week. If you're watching this week, the live was cut short. My internet went out. Seems to be the internet has been spotty for the last like 10 days or so. And that's not just me. That's like literal nationwide. I've had problems on eBay, had problems on whatnot. Matt's here. The ones of us watching it are enjoying it. Well, thank you. I appreciate anyone that watches it. But yeah, the internet cut out last week. So I was cut short. I think I went on for like 7 minutes longer than I realized. Like the internet was cutting in and out, and I was just going through it because sometimes, even when we streamed breaking back in the day, that was an issue that would plague us. Sometimes the internet would just disconnect for no reason at all. I always felt bad because we're running live breaks, we're opening packs. No one ever one single time accused us of doing anything faulty, but it always stressed me out. And like Josh would attest to this, it is the worst experience ever. If your internet cuts out, it's awful. We had landlines, we had upgraded internet, we had the literal router plugged in, we had every possible thing that we could think of, and still every other week it would go out for no reason. So that's something that live streaming we always had to deal with. I continue to deal with, apparently, and so does a lot of people. So do a lot of other people, because it's happening with all kinds of different platforms. I talked about just like why I'm doing this, and I think I've probably mentioned like Gary Vee along the way, or Alex Hermosi, but some of the like smaller creators that have also kind of given me ideas for what I'm doing or what I want to do and talk about, and how I want to participate in the hobby, as well as like my own journey. I just want to shout out Bo at 1 million Cubs. I don't know if he'll ever see this. Very, very unlikely. He kind of is the reason I'm here at the stage that I'm at. I followed his stuff for a while. I watched it on and off. I saw him post on blowout forums on and off. But watching his literal daily show that he calls Hobby Evolution is one of the inspirations for me doing this. The inspirations for me bulk selling on eBay. One of the inspirations for my evolving into what it is today. So, Bo, if you ever do see this, thank you. I know we've interacted a couple times. I'm not sure if you even know my name, just my avatar on Instagram and or on Twitter, things like that. But thank you. And then it might sound corny, but Elise Myers, she's like a content creator across all the platforms, who's just a realistic person who talks about her life. And one of the things she said that like just always hit with me, and I don't understand why, is that she said like just some people might want to hear what you have to say. That's literally it. Some people might want to hear. So I said 30 views, like that was a negative. It's insane to me that 30 people, and this is week 4, so each show has at least 30 views. It's insane to me that 30 people have tuned into this 3 different times, potentially 4th as I'm making this. And just anyone who's ever watched any second of my content, thank you. It's just incredible to me. Last week on Wednesday, I talked about the breaks that I had coming up. It was pro debut, it was update, all in one day, and I was posting shorts, or I guess they're not short. Yeah, they are YouTube shorts. I was posting on Instagram stories, and I was just kind of documenting my day. I maybe posted 6 or 7 times. It wasn't anything crazy. It was unedited. I didn't put any links. I wasn't trying to sell. I was just talking about what I was doing. And it was really fun to post. But what was more fun was like the the reactions from other people. A lot of people just commenting that they enjoyed polls, they enjoyed watching the content. I get about 1,100 views a month across all of my content, and at this point is 400 some videos. A lot of that is old breaking stuff and product reviews and things like that, so it's not as relevant, but the number that I was sitting at, 1,100, was pretty consistent. And then all of a sudden I posted last week, and now my views are at 10K for this month. 5,000 of that was in a 3-day window of just people watching my short form, and a lot of my long form was making it in. My pro debut box break video has 200 plus views, and that's a video that I've made every year and usually tops out at 50 views. So the fact that something like that hit 200, I'm just like eternally grateful. I can't even explain how much joy it brings me to see those numbers go up. And like, numbers don't matter. It's the connection that I'm looking for, but the connection is slowly happening. More comments, more discussion here on X, on Instagram. One of the coolest things that happened from my update case, I pulled a first pitch autograph, Manuel Selman. He's a surfer who competed in the Olympics. I posted it on Instagram and I tagged him because I just thought it was cool. I did not have any intentions of like trying to connect with him or whatever, but he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, I really like this card. Let's make a trade. Let's do something." So long story short, we worked out a deal, and that is beyond cool. He tagged me in his stories. He and I have like continued communicating back and forth. And it is just like one of those things that I wasn't expecting, but the content creation side, the internet side, the social media side provides that much more depth to this whole thing. And it's just so cool. I feel like this is a 7-minute ramble of me, like, just realizing what everyone else knows, that social media can connect people, but I'm experiencing it firsthand at like the level, I shouldn't say the level, the interest zone that I want. So talking about cards, with cards, for cards, about cards, all over the place. And it's really cool. So again, thank you for everyone that watched any bit of my content ever. Thank you. That Wednesday I did, I woke up at 6 and I went to bed. It was after midnight. But what I did that day was I essentially worked 17 hours on card stuff. Like literally the moment my alarm went off, I was so jacked. I knew that there was going to be new product. I knew I was going to film a YouTube live. I knew I was going to be buying new product at noon. I knew that I was going to be listing and sorting and shipping and doing all of the card stuff. And it's amazing what one truly like start to finish hard day work can do. I did that 17 hours worth of work, and like I wasn't on my phone lollygagging. Josh, what's going on? He made it. He made it to the chat. I don't think I put live chat replay, so I'm gonna have to change that. You did tune in last week, but it was after my internet cut out. So thanks for watching, or trying to watch last week. But you know, the old Wiffle Breakers internet, it's always an issue here and at your place. No idea why. We always struggle with it. But yeah, just like the 17 hours of working on cards all day last Wednesday was one of the best days of the year for me. And I feel like it's ridiculous. I'm literally working, but I enjoy my work. I talk about this all the time. Matt and Clemson, he's here. And then that was my intro, by the way. My intro took me 8.5 minutes. I wanted to do that in about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, but you know, you get into it. Just back to my card business and buying and selling. I think in the thumbnail, I wanted to talk about like knowledge is literally everything. I've had a lot of communication last, we'll call it 6 weeks, you know, pretty much around the content journey restart around October, the start of October. A lot of people asking me like, you know, why do you think you're good at this? Why do you find success? What are you doing that's better than anyone else? And I always say like, or they ask, what can I do better? And I say the literal number one thing is knowledge. Nothing else matters. You have to be knowledgeable. And that knowledge can ebb and flow in whatever section you want. My success comes in like knowing baseball card releases in and out. New products are not for everyone. Most people don't care about the intricacies of a new product, why it's good, why it's bad, the print runs, anything else like that. I'm the exact opposite. I consume every bit of content that I can. On Blowout, there's usually a product topic, and they just talk about the new release. They talk about price points. They talk about what they think the odds are, what the price points were last year. And I think there's just so much information gained before a product is ever released. And then on release day, we see what type of odds, what type of cards people are pulling, the hit rates, because odds aren't always posted. I think Pro Debut odds were not out when Pro Debut actually released. So stuff like that, you can learn a lot on the fly. You can see what some of the case hits are, some of the low print run, like 2023 Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. It's just a random product, but X-Fractors were one per box. So when we were able to take out how many boxes we think are run, we never really know. Topps doesn't release that information. The X-Fractor print run is about 250. I think it's plus or minus 10 of that. But when you know little stuff like that, if you see an X-Fractor of highly collectible players that's underpriced, you can pick those off in dollar boxes, $5 boxes, whatever they might be. But if you build those informations, you build all these $1 to $5 cards over and over and over again. More recent examples, pink foil products from this most recent Topps update. Pink foils are one per case. Yes, they are. I pulled 6 in a case, but they were 6 different insert hits. So those case hits, you'll see them in dollar boxes for the next 3 to 5 years. If you're always looking for them, you turn 1 into 5 over and over and over again. You stack it on top of it. Same thing with 2024 Stadium Club. Gold foils were 1 per box. Not a huge deal. That's a 300 card checklist. So if you have 1 per box, it takes you 19 cases to hit 1 of every card. Sure, you're not going to open 19 cases, but the actual rarity of per gold is 1 in 19 cases of any single player. Again, if you stack that with the pink foil, with the other hits, you're just raising your knowledge level. Gold minted from this year's Stadium Club. Not a lot of 24 Stadium Club was opened. So if you look for gold minted refractors at card shows from 2024, those are also, they're not 1 per box, they're 1 per case. In the history of 2024 Stadium Club, it's now been out 7 months. 1 Pablo Lopez gold minted refractor has sold. 1 additional one is listed, and it's mine, and I just listed it yesterday for $20. Or it might actually be $25. Not a huge deal, but I paid $1 for that card. So if I'm flipping through dollar boxes and I'm stacking all of this information one after another, I'm going to have enough at bats to get hits, to get wins, to make money. So people ask me, what do you think I should learn? Learn as much as you can. Learn everything. Find value wherever it exists and however you can add it. I talked about posting on Blowout. I have notes here in front of me. Posting on Blowout. And one of the things that I notice is that there are certain people that post on Blowout that are just huge green flags. There's about 5 to 7 people that I really listen to what they have to say because they think a lot like I do. They do a lot of the things I do. So when I see these 5 to 7 posters kind of lighting up a product, it's a huge alarm going off for me to look for sealed wax items that I should be buying a ton of when they release, products that are slowly starting to creep up. One of the big ones that Blowout was huge on, and I drug my feet, was the Bob Ross product. I tried to get that stuff when it released on Topps. I missed. I was on there at 12, missed it. It was hard to check out. The queue backed me like 13 minutes behind, and I just couldn't get any. It happens. Then people started posting the resale boxes for resale online. I want to say they opened at $350, and then people put them online at $500. And a lot of people in that Blowout thread, again, who I respect, who I know are very knowledgeable, who do the same things that I do, they posted, hey, $500 is a good deal. There's so much value in these. $500 is a good deal. Within no time, they're $600. James, what's going on? Next thing you know, they're $600 a box, then $800 a box. I think they're now $1,200 to $1,400 a box. So I missed the opportunity to listen to these people that I know are good posters. But if I had just listened to them in week 1, you could be flipping boxes for $500 to $600. I could have been opening the boxes and putting singles in my eBay store because they are huge traffic bringers. People are searching for that stuff all the time. The high numbered hits, the low numbered hits, it was massively huge success, and I missed out completely. With all of that information, I can still stack that with all the other case hits that I'm looking for. Now I'm looking for those any Bob Ross stuff from 2025. The base cards are going to end up in dollar boxes. The hits are going to be underpriced. If people don't immediately resell, or they bought their own guy and then somehow lost interest after he got traded or he's hurt or whatever, there's going to be value to be had on the those types of products. So I'm always trying to learn and stack that stuff up. The so I just said, like, stack this information. The card show reminder that I like tell myself when I go to shows is like, you don't know if you don't go. But the reason I say that is because I think there's like this misnomer that when you go to a card show, that every card dealer in there is one, a professional card dealer, and two, prices all of their things correctly. And that is, or they're too high. And that is just, it's almost impossible if you actually think about it. Most people go to a show, they're as a dealer or as a vendor, I should say, they're a vendor. They set up, they have a table. How in the world can you expect 100 cards, 300 cards, 500 cards, 1,000 cards, sometimes many, many more if they have dollar boxes, quarter boxes, whatever? How can you expect every single card to be appropriately priced? I couldn't do it. And this is what I spend my entire time doing. I just said last Wednesday, 17 hours I spent pricing, valuing, opening, ripping, all centralized around sports cards. So people have this misnomer that if you go to a card show, that every dealer has cards priced correctly. There is value to be had everywhere. If you continue to stack the knowledge and you continue to get at bats, so go to a card show every weekend, go to 2, go to 3. Tonight is Wednesday, and in Northeast Ohio, there are 2 card shows within 1 hour from me. This place in Toledo has a Wednesday night card show every Wednesday, 3 to 9. And they do free vendor setup. So if you show up, first come, first serve, you can just have a free vendor table at this card shop. And I think they can hold like 30 to 40 people. So every Wednesday, there's a free show. And for me, it's just insane opportunity. Now, I have gone to that multiple times, and it leans heavily Pokemon. So that's not for me, but the opportunity is there. The other card show is like technically a trade night, but it's still the same thing. Table set up on a Wednesday night. I'm gonna go check that out this evening. It starts at 5:30 to 9. It's in Strongsville. It's just another at bat. You don't know if you don't go, and if they're at 5:30 and by 6, I think it's a bust. Okay, so I lost a half an hour. It's a 15-minute drive for me, maybe 20 minutes if traffic is weird at that time. I'll take the opportunity over and over and over again to see those shows, to see potentially new dealers and find. Some people talk about like, how are you making money when they're trying to figure out what I'm doing. I'm just getting as many at bats with as much knowledge as I can. One of the things I talked about last week was doing a silver pack refractor show on Whatnot. All I did was sell silver pack refractors. That's in the thumbnail, the silver pack show review. And overall, like if I'm looking from the outside in, it went well at a dollars and cents portion of it. But my feeling as soon as the show ended was really uneasy. I didn't like my performance. That is literally the only negative I have to say. I broke my own rule. I think if you're running a Whatnot show, you should always have cards on screen, no matter what, for sale. There should always be something for sale. So I was running singles where I have like first class shipping, so 78 cents. I was running team lots where I was popping in and out some team lots, two team lots here, 3 team lots here. And then I was working in a couple graded cards as well. I was unprepared for how much work that would be, switching the auction style, switching the cards on screen. If you're doing team lots, I was trying to fan out all the cards to show what the team lot was. While I was doing that, I extended the time, and then I didn't hit start auction on a couple items, and then I didn't have anything in the background for my secondary item, which is going to be the next one. So I was sitting there multiple times with nothing on screen, and I watched my viewer count drop from 40 to 16 in about 5 minutes. And I think even that was was generous. If I do that again, or if I were to pop into someone else's show and see that, there's no way I'd stay. So the silver pack show, from the dollars and cents of what I sold, how it sold, it went well. From my performance on screen and showing and bouncing back and forth, I was very disappointed. I can do better than that. I will do better. But I had the discussion afterwards. I had I think it was exactly $1,249 in sales. And for some reason, I was disappointed. If you would have told me that someone was going to come through and buy $1,200 worth of silver pack refractors from my eBay store from 7 to 9 p.m., I would have lost my mind. That would have been one of the most incredible outcomes that I could ever imagine selling on eBay. And somehow I was disappointed and had this high expectation for myself that was unrealistic, and was disappointed by those results on Whatnot. And I've been on there 7 weeks now. I've been on there with less than 400 followers, and it was a great opportunity for me to realize, hey, this is working. You can still continue to do better. You're not perfect. This is a learning curve, but continue to do it. Um, and I think I'd say that to everyone. I think if you are thinking about selling on Whatnot, or you have sold on Whatnot, and you're having, or eBay, whatever it is, whatever situation, if you're having bad results, look at it as an opportunity to get better. Watch someone that you think is good at this, and what are they doing different. And I promise you, it's not the yelling at the camera, it's not the music that they play, it's their baseball or football or basketball card knowledge, and that is what has probably propelled them to what they are now. That is not true across the board. There are some people that are successful based on hype alone, but there are some sellers that are good because they know what they're doing. Just try and learn, just try and get better. This leads into my next point. Another discussion that I have all of the time with other eBay sellers when we talk about eBay is that they have a good week, or they have a bad week, or they feel like something might be wrong with eBay. This is, I mean, this is the harshest I will ever be. But like, if there's ever a problem as with views or sales or whatever across any platform, it's your fault, good or bad. So if my buddy asked me the other day, he said he'd been listing 5 a day for a couple weeks, and he hit like this certain number of items for sale, and he hit a certain feedback number. And he asked me, he's like, do you think that eBay like gasses up your store if you have 500 feedback or more or whatever? And I was like, no, it's you. You've been listing 5 a day for however long. You've grown a good feedback, good following, good product. You're getting better at buying. You've been on eBay now for a year. You're seeing what's working, what's not working. Why are you giving eBay credit because you have good, like this certain number of feedback? It's your fault because you're getting better at what you're doing. You're consistent. You're listing every day. You know the products. You're buying better. Now, I gassed him up, but I believe every single word of that. And if he was saying, hey, man, my sales are really down, I don't think I'd have like the ability to tell him, hey, it's 100% your fault. You're not listing good enough. You're not listing consistently enough. You're not listing good product. You're not buying good enough. You're wants. That's the reality if you have a bad week on eBay. Yes, there are flares week where their traffic is down. You have lower numbers overall, but it's very, very short term. It is unsustainable if they have an issue or eBay's down. At least you may have a day where eBay is down, but be like, man, my sales are dropping, my views are dropping, and this, that, and the other is dropping. It's probably her fault. You're probably not listing inventory that people are looking for. You're probably not listing consistently. You're probably listing things at above comps. You're probably not listing at a good price. You're probably listing things that are flooded. I know that I went through it in July and August. It was 100% my fault. I was traveling almost every other weekend. I was gone for 3 to 5 days at a time. I was gone for 7 days at one point. I wasn't listing every day. I wasn't updating my listings. I wasn't updating pricing as things rose and fell. So I should expect slow sales. I'm not doing enough to earn sales, good or bad. It's your fault. Just keep working on things that you can get better at. Keep making better buys, better inventory, and just do better. One other thing that I want to talk about that I didn't put on the thumbnail, I just kind of put 3 topics on there and go from there, kind of shoot from the hip to see what we're going to talk about, see what the chat's going to talk about, which, by the way, this is the most chats I've had. We're at 9. I appreciate every single one of you. This is not facetious. 9 chats. I love it. I would love to continue to grow this. This is the most viewers I've ever had live. 5. Thank you who's watching. But I made a card show pickup. I make them for most of the card shows that I go to, just about stuff that I buy at the shows. I literally go through it unedited. Everything in there is exactly how I bought it, including the price stickers. And I had this thought as I was making last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago after a card show, I should pull the stickers off or leave them on, or talk about, I found this in a dollar box. I did this, I did that, whatever. In the end, I don't think it matters. I don't think anyone's like watching those videos, writing down prices, and then seeing what I listed on eBay. A lot of times what that sticker said is not even true anyway. Most of the time it's less, but I have paid more. Matt, you're the man. I have paid more than some stickers on there because the guy originally had it out. I said, hey, I'll take it for that price. And they're like, actually, that is underpriced. I didn't mean to do it. Fine. What do you want for it? Let's work out a deal. So the sticker doesn't always mean that that's what I paid. And I don't know if I was worried that people are like, oh, you only paid $1 for this, but you list it for 40, for 50. That's the card business. Sometimes I get good deals. Sometimes my knowledge is going to get me a case that was in a dollar box. I talked about it this week in my video that I picked up a Carlos Correa case at 50 cents. That case hit is a retail Mega Stars case hit. It is maybe a $5 card. I think the last few sales were like $3.99, $3.50, $4.50. So $5 would be the top end. But I talked about like how I found that, and then 2 weeks ago, a Michael Brantley numbered out of 10 that I found in a quarter box. It's just part of the game. That's how I'm able to be successful. Telling people what I paid or how I paid or where I found it, I don't think matters. And if it does, I think that there's like a group of people that think I'm taking advantage of dealers or that I should be telling them what I find. And I think there's some like not going to card shows regularly. Dealers are there to sell cards. They paid a table fee, they paid an entry fee, whatever it might be, that they need to try and make back. That is their first goal. Their second goal, yes, to make money. Some of these people are doing it for a living, so it's, they need to make a lot more than the card, the table entry. But the reality is they are set up to sell cards. They have put the work in to bring these cards, to price these cards, to put them in different boxes, to sticker them, to put them in display cases. But in the end, they want to sell cards. That is their goal. So if I show up with a stack of 70 cards from the quarter box, 60 of them are worth 50 cents, but the other 10 are worth $5, $10, $20. I don't think they care. They put that quarterbacks out there to help pay for the table. They put that quarterbacks out there so people sit there and go through it and hopefully find some deals. If I went to every table and told them, hey, that's underpriced, hey, that's underpriced, that's underpriced, what am I doing? I'm just helping them do their research, and I'm essentially working for them for free. So sometimes I do tell people, hey, this is underpriced. It may be something I'm not interested in. It may be something that I don't have an easy time moving. One card that I recently did was in 2024 Topps Heritage, the city variations. Instead of saying Brewers across the top, it says Milwaukee. It's a 10 card subset, and I came across a Jackson Churio. There were two cards in there. One said Brewers, one said Milwaukee. That is an actual one that I'm looking for. If I see 2024 Heritage high number, I'm looking for those variations. I had two of them listed on eBay, and they were both listed at 50 or maybe 60, and they hadn't sold. And the guy had I was buying stuff from him already, and he had a $5 or $7 price tag on it. And I told him, like, hey, this is just, this is a variation. You have this mispriced. Just look it up and put a different price tag on it. Another example is there was a Topps Now card. They made a card for the Pope. And there's a guy at one of my shows who buys a lot of Topps Now. And that Pope card actually, it was a $5 card. Well, if you bought 100, it was a $5 card. Or if you bought 20 for $100, it was a $5 card. But that card, by the time it was in hand, was actually selling for around $20 on eBay. I didn't want to sit there and, buy all these cards for $7 and try and sell them for 20. That is where I specialize, but I'm not a big selling cards of the Pope guy. So I told him, hey, just so you know, I know you sell on eBay. You have these listed for $7. You have 10 of them. They sell for 20-ish on eBay. If you look at sales, just, throw them on there real quick while you're standing here and see if you can get any bites. And he did, and he was thankful. And I think that's, if I do a little bit of mix, the other thing that happens is sometimes when people tell me, hey, this is, the stack's $100, be like, no, I have to give you more money than that. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but if it is someone that I've dealt with before, who I know takes care of me, or who I know has taken care of other customers, kids, whatever it might be, if they do a good job as a vendor, I'm going to help them as much as I can, because I need them to come back. I need them to keep buying cards. I want to keep them in the hobby. I want to keep dealing with people that are good people. I got a message after the show on Saturday. It was late Saturday. I'd interacted with this guy 3, 4, 5 times. We'd exchanged names. I gave him my card, just let him know, hey, I'm looking for bulk baseball. Usually have a lot of what I like. And I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars with him. And trust me when I tell you, he knows that I'm buying $1 cards and selling them for $5, and I'm doing it in large quantity from specifically him. He knows it's happening. I've told him his stuff would be successful and whatnot. He'd be a great seller and whatnot. He has good inventory. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to take the time to ship $5 cards. He doesn't want to take the time to price all of these $2 to $3 cards at $5 and wait for eBay. He wants to sell at shows, make a lot of money, and buy cards when he wants to buy cards. So he messaged me afterwards. We had talked about the products that had just come out, and he's like, "Hey, I just want you to know, thank you for buying from me." He's like, "You're literally my favorite buyer. I appreciate you." He's like, "I bought this box. Check out these hits." And it was just like cool community, and also it felt good knowing that he and I both know the situation. I do make money off of the things that I buy from him, but I continue to buy from him. I continue to be a good person to interact with. I let him know, hey, like those more cards, you have them priced at $1. I'll pay $2 per for all of them. Some stuff I'm willing to pay more on because I know that if he keeps coming back, he and I will just have good vibes. I'll make better deals in the future. He'll continue to buy, and we can both grow together. So I love going to card shows and working deals and finding underpriced stuff. But there's so much nuance to it that I talk about it a little bit when I'm at shows, even with the dealers, and let people know, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. That I've never gotten any negative feedback. I don't have people telling me, oh, well, if you're a reseller, I'm not going to sell to you. That's not the case. People are at card shows to sell cards. So a little rambly there. Things that happened to me this week. I would love to continue to do this, and like I said, maybe even 2 days a week, but I feel like what's already happening as just like the views creep up a little bit is like I am enjoying this so much that I can't even describe it. I'm enjoying selling on Whatnot so much that I can't describe it. The interacting and talking about baseball, I think it's because I work for myself. I work from home. I spend a lot of time by myself. The fact that I have now condensed my time and talking about what I want to talk about is happening more than it ever has in my entire life. I'm talking about baseball 3 to 5 nights a week, which has never been anything I've ever done. So yes, it's mostly baseball cards, but it is when the season is going on, I will be actively talking about what's happening. So anyone who tuned in, I appreciate you guys. My schedule the next few weeks is going to be insane. I work for another company. It's a very, very part-time gig where I work as a casino dealer for like casino nights at companies and charity events and things like that. So I think today's the 19th. I have one this Saturday night. And then in December, from the 1st through the 14th or something, I work like 9 of 14 nights, I think it's even more than that, actually. So I will still be able to stream on Wednesdays during the day. But after that, like probably after Christmas, start of the new year, I'd like to get on a very regimented streaming on Whatnot. I'd like to do 3 nights a week with a 4th night once a month. So I'd like to do Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. I have a show posted right now for Thursday. If you guys haven't checked out Whatnot yet, there are bad apples, there are bad streams, there are bad sellers, there are bad buyers too. I just want to be the good. Give it a chance. If you haven't, form your own opinion of it. Go in there, see what opportunities you can find. I sold a Jordan Alvarez Orange Refractor auto that I had paid $66 for exactly a week ago for $26. So I was happy to have that buyer in my stream. I was happy for the sale. Of course I want it, but in the end, that person is someone I met at a show. I talked about what I do. We connected, gave him my info, and he looked me up. I'm glad he bought that because I bet he'll be in my next stream. I bet he will see me at the next show and he'll say hi to me. And I bet we will have a better relationship moving forward. In addition to all of those benefits of selling that card for less than I wanted. Of course, I wanted more money. If he wasn't in that stream, if I didn't tell people what I do, that card would have sold for less. He was the last bid. So would it have sold for 24, 22, 20? I don't know. So Ian, if you're watching this, thanks for joining. I had a great time at that show. The only thing that happened, like the only disappointing part was my performance and trying to sell lots along with singles and mixing up the timing of it. So I will get better. So if you guys watch that, thank you. Join me on Thursday, 7 p.m. for the next one. I will be running breaks on there. I have to figure out the OBS system so I can stream on YouTube and Whatnot at the same time with instead of using my phone, because right now on Whatnot, I'm only using my phone 100% of the time. I want to go to my actual webcam that I have and be able to stream from Whatnot and YouTube, have the opportunity to sell breaks. What I'm thinking of doing is going to be breaks will be listed in my Whatnot shop 2 days before the break because I have to like ship in a certain time. I'll have it listed 2 days before the break, and anyone that doesn't sell in the 2 days before will be run at auction as the break starts. So if my show starts at 7, I'll probably tell people, hey, for 5 minutes, this is what's available. If you guys want to buy it, great. If not, I'm going to pull down those teams and I'm just going to auction them off, and we'll go and we'll get a break. If that works and, I'm getting good products, we're having fun, I'm making a little bit of money, I'll continue to do that. But I think that's how I'm going to do breaks moving forward. We'll be on Whatnot. And I think I want to say the beginning of the year is when I'm going to start doing that. But I hope it's before that. I would like to do it before that. I just have to figure out my schedule. If I'm going to stream on Whatnot and sell singles, then I have to pick a night or a time to try and do a break. But I'll probably do like a lower end one. I have some update here. I might do like a 4-box hobby update break and just let it rip. Whatever stuff sells for. But then people can see how I break, that I look at every card, that I'm more of a team guy than like trying to fill the next break. I want to go slow. I want to talk about the stuff. We'll see how that progresses in the future. If you guys haven't joined Whatnot, there's a link in the description. $15 for your first purchase. Obviously I get a little kickback from that. I get $5 to spend on Whatnot if you sign up and spend your 15. So if you do that, great. Thank you. If you're already on Whatnot, just follow me. I'm at Wiffle Breakers everywhere. For everyone who watched today, I mentioned it 5, 6, 7 times. Thank you. And I will say it 5, 6, 7 times more in the next episode. I appreciate you guys. Matt, thank you for watching. You've been a day one, so I appreciate you. Everyone who does watch this till the end, 37 minutes of me rambling. I could go for longer, but I'll save your ears a little bit, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time.